Hi, I'm Sophie from Encodian, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can start to create PDF documents and sign PDF documents from a Power App. So in the solution today, we're going to be filling out a form on a Power App, submitting that form. We're then going to be signing by using the pen input, so we're going to be drawing our signature and submitting that. Then in the background, a Power Automate is going to run to create our PDF document from a Word template. It's then going to convert this document to PDF, and then we can sign the PDF. Because the PDF has then been digitally signed, when we open that PDF up in Adobe, we can then see the signature on the document there. So let's take a look at the solution. So this is the Power App being used in the solution today. So this is an employee sicknesses application. So this is where employees will come if they've had a few days off work because they've been ill, just to provide some details about their illness and whether they're feeling better. So I actually created this app straight from data. So there is the employee sicknesses Dataverse table sitting behind this app. And I literally just created this application from Power Apps when you create an app based on data. So this is that kind of out of the box template that they give you with those kind of apps. So I've done very minimal configuration and it already came like this, just to make things simple for the solution today. So let's go through and add a new sickness. I am logged in as Encodian Service, which is why all of these are for Encodian Service. I'm going to go ahead and click New. So let's say I had migraine. Let's say I had it yesterday and I'm back better today. Was it caused by accident at work? No. Declaring that everything is true. And then I'm going to go ahead and submit this. And we can see we've had this pop-up appear on the screen asking me to provide my signature. And this is using the pen input. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that in. And I'm going to click submit. But before I click submit, I just want to highlight a few things. So firstly, if you look in the background below, we can see that our form has submitted. You can see it's sickness number 7, and we can see all the details have saved, and this form is no longer an edit form, it is a view form, which means that when we submitted that form, that data was saved back into Dataverse. And I just want to highlight that this signed document item here at the moment says that there is no file. So when I go ahead and submit my signature, this is going to patch my signature back to Dataverse on the same row as sickness 7. So it's going to use the form's last submit to get the ID of that row and patch the signature image there. It's also going to run a Power Automate flow in the background, and that Power Automate flow is what's actually going to be driving the creation and signing of the PDF document containing these details. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this through. So now that has submitted, we can see that again, that all of the details are here, and in the background, the Power Automate will be running. So let's go ahead and give this a refresh and see if the document has been created. So after refreshing, we can see that the signed document has now been added to this sickness entry. So we can open this document straight from the Power App by double clicking. And we can see it's downloaded here. However, I want to open this in Adobe. So I'm just going to go to Show in Folder. And I'm just going to make sure I open this with Adobe. So now that the file has opened up, this is what the completed file looks like. We can see that we've got all of the details about the sickness that have been added in here. So we added migraine, it started yesterday, started on the 7th and it's ended today. We can also see here that the employee signature has been provided. So that pen input that we drew in the app has been now put onto this document. And if I hover over this, we can see that this is a valid signature. So we can see that this has been a validated signature. And we can even open this up and have a look at the signature properties, where we can see that this is an AATL approved signature, which means that the signature is valid and means that the document is trustworthy. So what is AATL? So AATL stands for Adobe Approved Trust List, and it allows people from across the globe to be able to provide digital signatures. And Encodian has received our certificate for the AATL from a company called Global Sign. We can also see up here that this document has signed and all the signatures are valid. We can open up the signature panel to view more information here, again seeing that this has been AATL Source of Trust approved. So now that we've looked at the document and the solution kind of end to end, let's go ahead and take a look at the Power Automate to see what's happening in the back end. So this is the Power Automate that is generating the creation of the PDF. So because this Power Automate is being run from the Power App, we can use this Power Apps trigger here, and we also need to have this input variable called Employee Sickness ID. So when we are calling this Power Automate to run it from the Power App, we're going to provide the ID that we need to go and get that employee sickness record from Dataverse. So once the flow has been triggered, the next step is then to use that ID to get the row from Dataverse and to also download the signature image from that row in Dataverse too, so we can use this later on. We are using Encodian's Populate Word document action to be able to populate the employee sickness form on a Word document. So to do this, we need to use OneDrive to actually get that template and get that template content so we can use it in the flow. Next, we need to use this Office connector. So in the employee sickness Dataverse table, there is a column called Employees, and this column is a lookup to the Microsoft Entra IDs table in Dataverse. Now, if this was a lookup to any other sort of table, here, instead of using Office, you would use Dataverse's get a row by ID, like we saw a few steps above, to be able to bring back that row. However, when you're working with the Microsoft Entra ID table, you can't use it with list rows or get a row by ID in Power Automate. So this means you need to use the Office 365 connector instead. And in this example, we're going to be using the Get User Profile V2 action. And you would use it the same way as if you were using the Get Rows by ID. So here, I've put in the value property of that employees column, because this is the Microsoft Entra ID GUID for that specific row in that table that we need to get. So this just works exactly the same. However, instead of using that Dataverse connector here, you need to use the Office 365 connector. And we are using this so that we can get the display name of the employee, because we're only saving that lookup in the employee sickness table. So to be able to get the written display name, we need to get that row from Office. So next, now we've got all that information, we've got our data from Dataverse, we've got the display name of the person who's been ill. Next up is we need to populate our Word document template. So to use Flowr's Populate Word document action, we need to provide the file content, which we've already got in the flow, and we also need to provide the document data input JSON. So this input needs to be in a JSON format with keys and values. And these keys need to match the tags in your Word document. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up the Word document to show you what it looks like. So this is the Word document template. We can see this looks exactly the same as the end result that we saw before. However, it doesn't have the data in this time. It has what we call tags. And this is how a regular tag will look like. And these tags, the text within the square brackets needs to match the JSON keys. And this is how the action is going to know where to put what piece of data that you are inputting to the document. So that's just really important to keep in mind. Going back here, we can see that we can start to actually format dates straight from the Word template rather than having to do it in Power Automate. And we can start to add in conditional formatting. So in the employee sickness table, there's a few yes/no columns there. But if you just use the data as it comes, it's actually stored as Boolean. So here, has your sickness ended? It would be either true or false rather than yes or no. So I've just added in some conditional formatting here to make this more readable and user-friendly to have either no or yes rather than true or false. We can also see here that the employee signature area is empty. That's because we're not providing that employee signature image at this stage in time. So yes, you could input the signature here. However, because we're already using the sign PDF action, it makes more sense to add that validated signature in at that step in time. So once we've got our Word document populated, the next step is to then convert this to a PDF. Once we've got it in a PDF format, we can actually go ahead and sign that PDF. So when converting to PDF, I'm just providing some temporary file names, and I'm providing the file content from the outputs of the Populate Word document action. And when I move on to the Sign PDF action, the file content there is the outputs of the Convert to PDF action. So this is what the Sign PDF action looks like. We're just using the standard certificate type, however you could use a custom one if you need to. We're putting in that file content from the Convert to PDF step above. And we do have a signature that we want to show. So I've set this to yes. And the file content I'm using is the content that we downloaded at the beginning of our flow from the row ID. So we're going to use that signature image that's saved in Dataverse. Down here we can say what page we want to apply the image to. So our document's only one page, so we're just going to keep it as the first page. And then we just need to specify the X and Y coordinates of where we want the image to be placed on the document. And that's all you need to do to be able to digitally sign your PDF documents. So once we've signed the PDF, we then need to just save this document somewhere. So in this solution, I'm saving both to OneDrive in the Employee Sickness Forms folder. I'm also uploading this document back to Dataverse on that same row so that it can be accessed within the Power App for future use. And the file content that I'm providing when I'm saving back these documents is the output of the Sign PDF action. So it's important you make sure you have the right file content inputs for each stage of the flow. So hopefully this video has shown you how using Power Apps you can start to populate Word document templates, convert these to PDFs, and then sign these PDFs using an Adobe AATL validated signature. The scenario used in this solution has just been created for demo purposes. However, this can apply to whatever your business needs are for signing documents. If you have any questions about anything you've seen today, please leave me a comment down below or get in touch with us at Encodian. And as always, happy automating.